All right, so welcome everybody once again to this web design lesson. We've had the first session yesterday, which was quite of an introduction. We delved a little bit deeper, but today we are going to be continuing. And then, as promised, you're having it in a pre-recorded video format. Before we go ahead with today's lesson, I would like to just give a recap of what we did yesterday. So yesterday we took it from the basics. We looked at what a website is, and then we looked at the types of websites. But then we also looked at why the website design has become quite a lucrative industry for people to delve in, and then also the purpose that websites seek to serve, which is why they have become that lucrative. And then also we went ahead to look at the types of websites. We learned that the types of websites are dependent on two classes. The first is the technical structure of the website, and the second is the functionality of the website. When you look at the technical structure of a website, we have two types. We have the static website, and then we have the dynamic website. So as we learned, we know that the static website is the one that has its information fixed. It doesn't change, just like the name applies. It's static, so nothing changes about it. If something must change, then you would have to modify the code structure of the website. The other one is the dynamic website. So we saw an example of the static website to be octaskills.com. That is the website which you visited to fill the form before you joined this lesson. So if you can see from here, the website is just as it was. Since last Monday, you started to fill the forms to join the class, and this is how the site has been. Nothing changed. So this is quite an example of a static website. It doesn't change. So the other one is the dynamic website. That one is the one that has its information changing over time. So we saw an example to be like gg.com. Now when you visit gg.com right now, this is what you're going to see. Probably in an hour's time, when you look at gg.com, something else, you are going to see different things here. So let's see if we'll be able to see that effect right now. We are having some Toyota Corolla 2009 over here. Let me refresh and see if it will still be there. Alright, I think it's still there. But when you come back in an hour's time, you'll realize that new ads will come and this one will be pushed down. Great, so that is how it is. Another example is this website. When you come back after an hour or so, you'll see that the website will be updated, new content will be added. Now, adding these items over here, adding these cars were done by individual users, and none of them had the chance to modify the code structure of the website. Are you getting it? None of them had the chance to modify the code structure of the website. All they did was just to click one thing, click here and there, and then they had their ad running for them. Same thing applies over here. But usually with a static website, you have to go and modify the code. So basically, that is the difference between a static website and then a dynamic website. So now we are going to move on to look at types of websites based on the functionality. We are going to look at the types of website based on the functionality. We looked at types of website based on the technical structure. Now we are going to look at types of website based on the functionality. So looking at types of website based on their functionality, we have several of them. First of all, we have the social networks, and I'm sure every one of you is familiar with social network. That's the Facebook and the Twitter. We are all there, right? We are all there. So that's the social network. So that's its function, to connect people for messaging and other stuff. And then we also have e-commerce, the e-commerce website. The e-commerce website is used for selling online. An example is Amazon.com, or we also have Jumia.com. So Jumia here, this is Jumia over here, and they have items they are selling. So this is an e-commerce website, and in due time we are going to learn how to create something like this. So the next one we have here too is what? It's a landing page. And the purpose of a landing page is to make a user take a particular action. Are you getting it? The purpose of a landing page is to make a user take a particular action. So maybe you have an item you are selling and you've designed a landing page. You structure the page and everything in a way that when the person comes onto the page, they read whatever they have there, they should take the action that you are expecting them to. For example, let's have right here this page over here. So I designed this page, I built it, and then I sent the link out to some people, and I pushed it. Now my goal is for you to come onto this website, give me your name, give me your gender and all the information. That's what I need from you. So my goal for designing this page is to capture these details from you. So this is what a landing page. A landing page could also be designed to make a user purchase an item, or a user to do any other thing. And then we also have what? A directory. So a directory is just a database for businesses. We have those business directories out there where when you visit, you can see companies based on their industry. For example, we have GhanaBusinessWeb.com here, and so we have the categories over here. So when you go here, let's go to education. Great. So we are seeing businesses that are in the educational sector. So we have Success Valley, and you have lots of them coming up. When you go to another industry, you are going to see it. So this is what a business directory is. It contains a list of businesses, and then they're in accordance to their industries. And then we also have the classified ad websites, or the classifieds, as most people refer to them. So they also function just like the business directories or the e-commerce website. Just that most is for the public to put their ads over there, just like we have on Gigi. So anyone at all can register on Gigi and then begin to sell their products. So this is a classified ad website. You can go onto Gigi, register and sell your items, or you can advertise your services, and you'd have people calling you in for it. And then the other type we have is the personal website, which is maybe this is who I am, and I want to pick a career in online tuition. I want to be teaching people. So I'm going to develop a website for myself to say, okay, this is me, this is what I do, this is what I've done. And so it's just a personal website, and it's more or less like a portfolio website, but it's specifically meant or built for an individual. We have an example over here. So Jim Ramsden is a designer. So he made a website for himself, and he's got information about him. When you go here, you are going to read some detailed profile about him, as we have right here. So that's the personal website, a website about himself. And then we also have the portfolio, which is to showcase works by a person or a group, just like we have over here. So this is what we have over here. It's a photography portfolio website. This is a photographer who wants to showcase his previous works. If anybody wants him and searches for him, okay, he knows how to take great shots, so I want to invite him for my program. So this is a portfolio website to show his previous works. And then we have a business website, which is basically representing a business, and that's what I said earlier, that most of them are static websites. So just like we have over here, we have this website representing Pillowsoft, and it is to advertise their services, the services they are offering. Then the other type we have here is what? The news blog. The news blog, just like we saw yesterday with Ranking News, this is a news blog. And their purpose is to bring news to the public. And then the other type we have here too is what? It's a forum. It's a forum or an open discussion platform. And a forum is just a platform where people go, they talk about similar ideas. Some people who have challenges ask questions, and then those who have an idea about it or have solutions help them out. Just like we have Quora like this. When you're on Quora, you can join different groups or you can follow different interests, and then based on whatever you follow, you see feed relating to that. People ask questions, people come to answer, people post things of their interest. We have other forums like Stack Overflow, which is meant for people in the software development or the web design industry, where if maybe you are creating a website or you are designing some you are developing a particular software or doing something and you have challenges, you can go on to Stack Overflow, post your question or look for similar problems, and then you find the solutions that are given over there. And then the last one we are going to be looking at under the functions, under the types of website by function, is the LMS or the Learning Management System. And it's basically a website that is designed to help people to learn online. Most of you who are in the tertiary institution right now might have used it or are using it. Because of Corona, it has caused quite a twist in the educational system. So most of you are now having assignments online. You pick the assignment online, you do it, and then you submit it back online, like the Sakai and UPSC Virtual and the others. So that's the LMS. Another example of the LMS, which is quite popular, is Udemy. We have Udemy, we have other ones too, and they help you to learn. So Udemy is just a database, a course database. There are millions of lessons on Udemy for people to learn. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. So basically, that's the types. Those are the types. That's not all. There are more, but these are a selected few, which we are looking at under the functions. All right. So the next thing we are going to be looking at is how websites work. Or someone will just ask, how do websites work? And you know that if you are a website designer or you are a website developer and you are creating something, you should know how it works, right? Most people don't understand that aspect of website design. There are a whole lot of people who are designing websites or are developing websites, and when you ask them, this website that you have created, it works fine. When somebody punches their address into the address bar or into the browser, what happens? They can't tell you. All they know is, okay, let me just put the address bar and then the website loads. But there is a series of actions that happens in the background which you're not going to see, and that is what we are going to be looking at right now. So what we have here, we have a diagram here, and we let's look at the diagram. So we have a user, we have the browser, we have the website, and we have all these things here. So the first one, it tells us what? User enters web address into the browser expecting to see a web page. So when you open a website, you open your browser, then you open the website, let's say google.com. You are expecting to see a page open with a big bar so that you type, what is the best school in Ghana? That's what you're expecting to see. And so you just type it. Or you hear that, okay, Octaskills is holding a free website design lesson, so you want to go and register. You pick your phone or your computer, and then you type octaskills.com, hoping to see the page open. Now, when you type the URL into the address bar, the URL is the link, what we usually call link. Yeah, it's the URL or the Uniform Resource Locator. When you type it into the address bar, what happens is that the URL is sent into what? A DNS server. The address is sent to a DNS server, which translates it to what? To an IP. You get it? It's sort of functions like your mobile phone book, right? So let me just finish with what you see here, then I'll give the explanation. So the IP now traces the hosting server and requests for the web page. Now the server fetches the stored web page or the lines of code and then sends it back to the browser. And then the browser now displays the lines of code that has been sent to it by the server. So when you enter over here, you enter the address into the address bar and you are expecting to see the website. What happens is that the URL is sent to the DNS server. The DNS server is what? A domain name server. The domain name server is like a phone book. Now, you probably have like hundreds or 200 contacts in your address book or on your phone book. You can't keep all of these numbers in your head. So you save them with a name. So you save somebody's name, Kojo. Then Kojo's number is 020000000. Then you have Kwame's number, which is 0249 10 17 83. Then you just have those numbers. You can keep all of them. So the DNS server, it serves as your phone book. Now the server over here is run by the IP, or to be able to access the website, you need an IP address. We have lots of servers that are available on the internet, and for you to be able to access this website, you have to know the exact server that is hosting your website. You have to know the exact server that is hosting your website. Are you getting it? And definitely, to you, the individual cannot keep all those IP addresses in your mind. So this DNS server becomes what? A link or a mediator. Let me put it that way. The DNS server knows the domain name and knows its relating IP address. So probably the IP address for Octaskills is 192.00.7.3. Now the DNS knows that. Just like when you have your phone book, you go there, you scroll to, you want to call Kojo, so you scroll to Kojo. Now the phone book knows that Kojo, this name is Kojo, and the number that corresponds to Kojo is 0248232822. So when you tap on Kojo, the phone book is not going to dial Kojo. The phone book is going to look for the number associated with Kojo and then dial that one. So it's the same thing that happens over here. The moment you press enter, after entering the address into the address bar, and you press enter, the address is sent to the DNS server. Now the DNS server will now look for what? The IP address relating to that. When the IP address is fetched, it will now look for the server that has that IP address. So when it goes there, it's now going to fetch what? Your website data or the web page. Are you getting it? When it fetches the web page, the web page is now carried back through the it's now carried back from the server through to what? Your browser, and then you have your page opened for you. Just like it's just a normal process of what you do every day. You just go, you want to visit a website like what website should I tell? Octaskills.com. Hoping to see the page load. The moment you press enter, that thing happens in the background. This URL is sent to the DNS server, which resolves it into what? The IP address. Now it locates the server that holds the website and brings the page back to us to see. So basically, that is how websites work. That is how websites work. The moment you enter the URL, it goes into a DNS server, which looks for the what? The corresponding IP address. Now it is then sent to its corresponding server. Then your web page is now fetched from that place and then sent back to you. So that's how websites work. That's how websites that's the background work that happens behind opening a web page.